Business partnering to me is about having somebody on your side who understands my strategy, is willing to listen to where I'm going, what I'm trying to achieve, and then talk it through with me, to have a collective discussion, stop me going down paths that necessarily I shouldn't necessarily go down, but also not to be an expert in just your field. Have a relationship with me and have it two-way so that we can bounce ideas off each other, and to make sure that we understand the bigger picture of what's going on in the One Ageas business. I can become very siloed in what I'm trying to achieve. A business partner will get access to lots of different parts of the business. So it's about bringing that to the table as well. And an open challenge to make sure that we've considered all opportunities and angles.
HR provide knowledge to the process. They're able to find a framework and governance around decision making related to all aspects of the HR process and the HR requirements of a large business area. They also provide support and a framework from which to work within, although this framework can sometimes be a little bit restrictive.
So from an HR and L&D perspective, what we benefit from is someone that knows our team and that they know their gaps, that we have that one point of contact from an HR perspective and from an L&D, because it helps both sides. They know the teams better, they can provide more tailored advice, and it's about having representatives for both teams that can provide both proactive and reactive. So for example, if there's anything that they think may benefit me as a line manager to roll out to the team, that's brought to our attention.
Break some of the rules, be a bit nosy. Do try to be proactive, don't wait for me to make contact. I've got a business to run, a P&L to manage, and it's good to know that people are on my side and just reaching out and making sure that if we've agreed some actions that they're moving forward, but also to share what you've seen elsewhere. I've been lucky enough to utilise some work that was being worked on in IT around objectives. And I've been able to utilise something that was there that I didn't know existed to really change the dynamic in my team, and the person who brought that to the table isn't necessarily my main contact. So it was great to know that my previous relationships have been able to evolve my business and also make a difference for the people in my team.
I think the challenge for me is around the flexibility to the solutions we provide. Are we able to provide greater flexibility, a range of solutions rather than a solution? And when we are looking at solutions, do we do enough to understand what the underlying result we're looking to achieve should be? I think sometimes we focus very much on a short-term solution rather than the longer-term good for both the business area and HR.
From my point of view, I would say that we already get a very good service from both HR and L&D. But some areas I think we could benefit further from is the more proactive advice. So are there lessons that have been learned through experiences of other line managers within Ageas that could be brought to my attention and the attention of my line managers that we could then roll out within our teams? Are there any upcoming challenges around HR legislation changes that we need to factor in to our everyday work? Having more frequent open dialogue with our HR and L&D representatives as well. If there's anything that perhaps they can be that sense check, provide us with that additional advice, some gaps that maybe they've identified that we can develop and work on with our teams. And I think there's also an aspect of helping myself and my line managers and their teams to become more self-sufficient, and making them appreciate the importance of learning and development and not allowing it to become the lowest priority. Helping people to understand where the courses are, where they're available, how to get those courses, and to help identify those gaps that maybe people need to work on.
I think the behaviours that are most important to me, and I think it's an Ageas issue, it's not an HR L&D issue, is just a bit of hunger and a bit of desire and passion. it's important in a business where we've got some tough decisions to make that actually we work together collectively and we work hard and fast, and we don't just accept that mediocrity is okay in various parts of the business. I'm dealing with things, and so will you guys in your areas, and it's about putting that stuff aside and trying to deal with what we need to deal in that moment.
Behaviours that I would like to see more of from the HR team, I think, start with actually getting under the covers, for want of a better expression, understanding what some of the issues are that sit behind the problems that the business, and within that I include HR, are faced with. Understand what some of the information that's available to us is actually telling us about the problem. Perhaps we take too many decisions based on the here and now rather than actually a greater understanding of the issue. I think behind that there then comes a need of greater challenge. Challenge the process, drive solutions, put those issues in front of the business area, and be more proactive in actually how we support and deliver change in a business area. And then behind all that is coming up with a range of solutions that drive both business decision but also that partnering relationship.
For me, one of them is around challenging what I call the status quo. So not accepting that because we've done any particular e-learning course, that's the e-learning course that we should continue just to amend and develop. It's really looking at what are the different options available to us that help us develop a wider range of training for the business, which aids their understanding of the regulatory requirements. I am a compliance nerd, and from my point of view, there are times where we write training courses for compliance nerds, and thankfully for the business, not everyone is a compliance nerd like myself. So it's about how we use not just e-learning, but all the different options out there that may be radical for other companies, but well, not radical for other companies, but radical for us. But it's about how we can develop those courses that encourage people to read it, and at the end of the day they better understand what it means to them and why they need to do it.
It is a two-way relationship. It's about making time for each other, it's about forcing it into diaries. Like I said, don't wait for me to reach out. And I would just probably welcome a bit more challenge, a bit more openness, and actually together we'll probably achieve a hell of a lot more than if we're just trying to do sales and HR and L&D, or just doing HR and L&D. If we collectively pull together, have a better view of each other's strategies, I'm sure it'll work smarter moving forward.